Hello guys, full time in Portugal. Vitoria 1, Arsenal 1. That probably makes it sound more exciting than it was. I have to say, I try to do these videos after every game. I don't know if I've ever been quite so uninspired to do one as I was by that 90 minutes. I know it's the Europa League. I know it's not our full strength team. I know it was Wednesday afternoon. There were plenty of reasons that this might have been a bit of an odd game and potentially a slightly dull one, but it was more than slightly dull. I really despaired at elements of our performance. And I think it's because, the Europa League's been a bit of a sanctuary for me this season. It's been a bit of a respite from our Premier League 4. We've seen some really exciting performances. You think of us, when we went to Frankfurt, for example, and won, it was a really enthralling end-to-end game. There were flaws in our game, but it was at least exciting. This wasn't really. Unai Emery went back to 3 at the back. I do wonder if that's a move slightly born of desperation. He is just trying system after system after system at this point, trying to find something that sticks, trying to find something that works. I wonder if he might go with it at Leicester at the weekend as a way of squeezing in an extra defensive player, especially because he's likely to not have Granit Xhaka in the squad, I suppose, given everything that's gone on with him this week. Yeah, and with Danny Ceballos getting injured tonight, you might think, well, that's one less central midfielder, put another centre-half in there. But, it didn't really work in any real sense from an attacking point of view. I've got a couple of stats and quotes here that I wanted to use. Albino of Opta said at full time, Arsenal have now had fewer shots than their opponents in 10 of their 17 matches this season. And away from home, it's all of their 8 away trips, bar one. I think outshot their opponents away from home in just 1 of 8 games, yeah. And that was the Sheffield United, where it was by a single shot. We do not create chances in this team. When we do score, it's invariably from dead balls, set pieces. There's a lot of stats going around that about how many of our goals have been scored not in open play of late. And even when we've somehow got ahead, we managed to ship an equaliser. And to be frank, Vitoria might well have won it had their finishing been just that tiny bit better in that final 5 minutes or so. When they equalised, I sort of shrugged my shoulders. I sort of thought, well, I'm not sure we really deserved to win this game. And I think if we had won it, it would have put a sort of a sheen on a performance that didn't necessarily deserve it. I don't want to overstress the importance of it. It's not an important game. And I kind of feel like it was sort of lose-lose for Unai Emery. If he wins and wins well, people will say, well, it's just Europa League. But if he loses or fails to impress, people will still criticise him for that. And I get that, that is the case. But it was also an opportunity for him to go out and win convincingly, potentially, or impress some sort of style of play. Look, that hasn't happened, but that isn't going to happen. When you change your formation every single week, it's not going to suddenly work. We need some kind of consistency in order to progress. And actually, I do think that Unai Emery, if he came out after these matches and said, do you know what, that wasn't good enough. Arsenal are really struggling at the moment. Our performances are not up to scratch. Things aren't right. We all need to come together and try and put this right. I think it would earn him a bit more time, a bit more respect from the Arsenal supporters. Because as it is, he's coming out and defending these really dreary performances. A great example of that is today. I'm just looking up what he's said now. Arsblog, I think, quoted him from it. Okay, so he said, we tried to make chances, but they, Vitoria, are a very competitive, organised team. It was important for us to be strong defensively. We did that. Yes, 1-1, but we were better. Offensively, this team is very organised, and it's not easy to have a lot of chance. I think he means defensively in that last one. But essentially, Emery's coming out of a game against Vitoria, which will be by far the stronger team, by far the stronger club. Talking about the idea that we need to be stronger defensively, which is a sort of inherently cautious approach, but B, doing so in a game in which they had significantly more chances than us, and better chances. It just doesn't really add up. And I thought I read something else on Twitter. Sorry to just keep sort of going back to things that I've read, but I think it's interesting. Tom Adams of Eurosport said Emery is now becoming very reminiscent of Hodgson at Liverpool or Moyes at United. He is saying things that betray a lack of understanding of the club culture. And that, I think, fundamentally is it. You know, I can sit here and say I'd like Unai Emery to come out and say, this isn't good enough, this isn't right, we need more time to put it right. But I'm not sure he believes that. You know, I think we are kind of seeing something close to what he wants. He believes, at least he says, the team are following his instructions. I'm in two minds about that. Either he really believes that, and that is extremely worrying, if this is sort of on purpose, all this stuff, or he is feeling the pressure and feels it so acutely that he sort of can't admit fallibility in this moment, that he can't be vulnerable enough to say, yeah, I get it, this isn't right, this isn't working, but we're trying to move in the right direction. I think the fact that he doesn't feel able to say that speaks to the pressure he is under, the scrutiny he is feeling. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think we are closer to what he would like. But if you think back to the good performances under Emery, then they are better than this. They are better than this. So I sort of don't quite fully subscribe to the idea that this is absolutely his intention. I just think that he can't really front up at the moment. I think he feels that that admission would harm his position. And he's not necessarily wrong in that, but it's just every game is sort of caught in this cycle of not living up to expectations, him then defending it, people going mad about that, then the expectations, get ramped up again, and then the disappointment is greater. It just feels like, to borrow a phrase from Andre Villas-Boas, whoever thought I would do that, it does feel like a negative spiral. And I find it very hard to see how he's going to get out of it. He's certainly not going to get out of it in one game. Even if he wins at Leicester, this will all come back as soon as the next setback arrives. He needs a really good run. Arsene Wenger could do that. I remember Arsene Wenger would feel like he was on the precipice and then produce 8-10 game winning runs. I'm not sure if Unai Emery's got that in his locker. I'm going to leave it there. 7 minutes I've talked about this match. I really didn't want to talk about it at all, but there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was maybe more interesting than the game. But yeah, I appreciate you watching all the same. And speak soon. Oh, subscribe if you don't. Apparently it's good for me. I don't know. Bye.